Hey Ben, how you doing?
Rich, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Long time no speak. How are things?
Things are great, thanks. Super busy.
Very good, very good. So let's talk about it. Pure Extracts got its sales license from Health Canada.
We
Can
did. We
can you
did.
please let the viewers know what this means for the company? That is huge news. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're super excited about that. So it means that we can sell directly to the provincial entities like we're in Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, and Ontario, and we sell through ABBA Medica's sales license. So we effectively rent their license. So we no longer have to pay that fee to them. So we get to keep all the margin, which is always good, and sell directly to the provinces. So it speeds up our route to market. And in some places, they didn't have a relationship with the distribution network, so we can go direct versus going through an intermediary. Definitely helps, from a sales perspective, and just speeds everything up for us.
That's huge. And I know you guys are working on sales in Alberta. Can you give us an idea of the market size and how much of how much of the market cap you think you can capture?
Yeah, Alberta is a great market, to be honest with you. Ontario is probably the biggest market, followed by Alberta. So we're pretty excited about that. We think we can capture a large part of the vape market, plus a substantial amount of the gummy market. We signed a deal, as you know, with Fireball from the States, so we're using their formula under the Pure Chews name, because Health Canada will allow us to call it Fireball, but same formulation, and we're using some proprietary packaging. So that will be in market in Alberta in 2 weeks. That'll be on shelf. It's on shelf in BC. So we're pretty excited about that. We think we can capture a nice portion of the market with the flavor profile. They're in 5 states, and they're either number 1 or number 2 in those states that they sell in. We're using the same, obviously, flavor profiles and whatnot. So three different flavors will be coming out, and then 2 in CBD products. So we're excited about that. So, and our vape products is in market already. They're selling quite well in Alberta. We're doing a 0.5 gram, 1 gram coming soon for the people that want a little bit of value for if they like the product. That's where I think the market is going to. So we're actually producing those now. So those will be in market in all 4 provinces for the end of August.
Great. Wow. You guys have really evolved since your IPO in November. So it just seems like every time we talk, you guys just continue to have news. You guys continue to grow. You guys are continuously moving forward, and that's a great sign. Now, other places you're working on sales is British Columbia, where I'm at, and Saskatchewan. When do you believe you'll have a good foothold in those markets?
In August, we're shipping product as we speak into both of those geos, so it'll be in market. We do education through Canaval, our agent that goes in and educates the baristas in the dispensaries. So they go to every location, give them a sales sheet, talk about the product, let them sample the product if it's allowed in the province. Some provinces are different than others, and getting them up to speed. But our product, especially in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, because of the formulations were tried in the illicit market, we have a lot of crossover folks that have seen the product before under its former life. So we're having good pickup from those people that have tried it before. A lot of those people used to run illicit dispensaries. Now they're legit. So we're getting good sale through from that perspective. So Ontario, obviously the biggest market today, and the most stringent from taking on new products. So we have a few listings there, and we've submitted, I think, 9 more to be reviewed. So that'll be a good area for us. And we're not sticking to Canada only, as you know. Michigan, we're coming shortly. We should be able to sign the definitive agreement with the MSO, and then we'll start production. In late November, early December, we'll be up and producing in the Michigan market.
Wow, that's incredible. Can you tell us about the medical platform ABBA that you guys are working on?
Yeah, so ABBA Medica is the folks that we use to sell through from our license for the provinces. Their business is also dealing with a lot of the vets, and the government helps fund their cannabis use. So they have a medical platform, kind of like Shoppers, and they carry several different brands. And their slant on their business model is they really deal with high volume users. A lot of the Canadian vets that were in the military. So we've joined them. We'll be on their platform in August, and mid-August the product will be on shelf. We think that the flavor profiles and the potency profiles that they have picked lend themselves to what the vets are looking for. So we're pretty excited about that. And we're working on a couple other large scale medical platforms to list the products on in September.
Very good. Now, you've mentioned Michigan. Can you give us an update on Michigan right now?
Yeah, Michigan's super exciting. So as your viewers will know, Michigan has really taken off as one of the states that has been crushing it, for lack of a better word. They're doing $180 million a month in recreational sales. And so, like, it's more than Canada, right? So definitely in Ontario and BC put together. So per user, higher than Colorado and California. So, Michigan, I guess in the winter is a pretty bleak place sometimes. So you got to find something to do. So this is really taken up. I'm being facetious, but it has really taken off for sales. There's 400 dispensaries in the state already. Wow. So really quick, right? So we're barely at 400 in Ontario, right? So we've been at this for a couple of years. So traction has been great. We have a really good partner that we're working with that does extremely well in dried flower and wanted to enter the extraction business and really didn't want to have the learning curve to get an extraction business up and running, and that's where we came in. So vapes and gummies represent, I think, like over 50% of their sales, might be a little bit more in the last report that I saw. So their state is moving through the normal paces of dried flower first, then vapes and edibles and whatnot, and then drink. So it's a super strong state. We think we can penetrate quite well. We've had good success with the formulations in Canada, so we'll be porting those into the U.S. market and then producing for that MSO and then other MSOs as we move down. And they really sell out. Gummy sales in Michigan sell out within 2 days on shelf. So wow. Right now, there's a shortage of good quality edible products and vape products. The price of cannabis is coming down there, so they have they had a shortage like Ontario and everywhere else did when we started this, when legalization. Now the grow is catching up to demand, and they're probably overproducing, which is great for guys like us. So we can buy some inputs a little bit cheaper. So we will be able to retain their margin. And you can charge a little bit differently in the U.S. There's not a cap. The provincial entities cap you on premium product and whatnot. So the market can flow naturally to where it should be for the quality of the product. So, we're pretty excited that people will recognize our quality in our vape and our chew product. And we're going to do some live resin down there also. It's another product we're bringing out. So we'll have a live resin vape and whatnot entering the market. And then we'll actually bring that into Canada at the quarter 1-2 of 2022 in Canada.
Wow, this is a huge update from Ben Nikolevsky, the CEO of Pure Extracts, symbol PULL in Canada, PULL, in America, PRXTF. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Tilray. Tilray just reported huge numbers, and the stock is doing really well today. It's up over 20%. Seems to be bringing the entire cannabis sector up with them. Do you think that this could be the beginning of a trend reversal for cannabis stocks? Because it seems as though we've had like a huge retrace across the board for the whole sector. despite the fact that Biden was very pro-cannabis and, was one of the keys to winning the election. And to be quite frank, since he's been in power, there's really been no change. Like nothing has really moved forward with legalization of cannabis in the United States. Do you see a trend reversal coming for cannabis? Because the numbers that Tilray reported were huge, like over 140 million for the quarter. Now, obviously, that included Afria numbers for the first time. So that's obviously why it was such a big number. But still, for Tilray to report 140 million for the quarter, that gives them a run rate of about 560 million a year, $500 million a year.
Yeah.
And we watched Tilray. We were the first ones to talk about Tilray pre-IPO like a couple of years ago. So to watch Tilray go from, I guess it was $17, then it went to as high as $300, then it came all the way back down. And before today, it was trading at around $15 in Canada. I know it hit $20. I'm not looking right now. It's probably just under 20 right now, 19 something. But what do you think about that? Do you think that could be a catalyst for the entire sector?
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, I sold my previous business to Tilray, so
yes.
So we have some insight, a little bit of insight into the way their model works, and especially with the deal with Afria. I think that the market sold off too hard. As Biden wasn't moving as fast as people wanted to, and they were concerned if the Canadian operators could mimic the U.S. operators, the MSOs. And with these results, I think people will definitely be looking a little bit harder at the Canadian operations of they can generate some real revenue and some profitability down the road on Canadian large scale cannabis players, like the Tilrays and, like Constellation and Canopy and whatnot. And then guys like us, we can make money, in the marketplace, and they have, Tilray has some exposure to international and some CBD in the US. So I think this is a really good turn of events for the Canadian cannabis business. And I think you're going to see over the next month or two, a run up in those equities because I really think that, as Biden didn't move, I think the market always, hopes for things to happen overnight. And I think that, obviously, Biden won, as you said, or one of his platforms he won on was the legalization of cannabis, and he's moving towards it. They got the banking kind of sorted out, so they can bank in institutionals in the U.S. pretty much, or they're getting there. So I think everybody's now saying, well, they can hold their own in Canada. They can make, they can have real revenue. And now, obviously, as the U.S. moves forward, they'll be even stronger. So I think you're going to see the Canadian equities now start to turn.
Yeah, and I think, I've been talking to people within our trading community and our members in our trading club about the fact that typically, especially for small caps, September until January seem to be the best time of the year. So we are going to go into the best time of the year for small caps. And historically, cannabis stocks have always done really well between September and January.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the time when we have really huge growth. And then for some reason, it's always really slow in the summer. Typically from the spring to the summer, we have a slowdown in the cannabis sector. It seems like it's been like that since the beginning. I feel like we're setting up for that again. Everybody knows that. So, market makers or investors, you maybe take their money off the table. And then, in September, when everyone's back to school, kids are back to school, a lot of investors are back at their trading desks. Investors are just looking at stocks again. Maybe that's when they start coming back in aggressively and looking for price appreciation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, there's definitely been a trend to
excuse me.
If there's value in the equity, the traders are going to trade it. That's the way I look at it. So, there's definitely be a sector always, for the last, X number of years, you're 100% right. There's definitely been that fall to winter trade for sure. We've seen a nice little uptick in our equity over the last little while. I think we got, a long way to go to be where we should be, but definitely, started, generating some revenue, and a lot of the smaller caps have started to do the same. They're, the folks that shouldn't be there are no longer there, and the companies that have real business models will flourish. But that's the nature of, Bay Street and Wall Street. People go to the Hamptons, people go to the Muskokas, they're with their families. It's not necessarily top of mind. This is where a lot of my investors are shopping, to be honest with you. There's great value out there, us being one of them, but just in the sector alone, this is when, you start building in July and August your book, and then hopefully by September you have your position set and you're away to the races. So, we've seen in our clubs, a lot of people, moving into positions because it's just, they're kind of languishing around. So, and that's, we saw a bump in our equity because of some of the U.S. trades. We're undervalued for entering, obviously, Michigan. Even at 40 cents, that's not even the value of a Michigan trade, right, for the whole company. So, we're definitely going to see a good market, I think, and come September. I think us personally, we're going to continue to see appreciation in our equity value just because of the sales that we went from non-revenue producing in March to now we're signing every province that we can ship to be honest with you. So we're working through that.
No, I love it. I don't look at much, like some people look at the stock and they think that tells the whole story, and sometimes it does. I like to look at the fundamentals of a company, and I really believe that is the true secret. As far as being a good investor, you have to be able to understand the fundamentals of the company. Your fundamentals are sound. You guys have a tight flow company. You guys are growing your revenue. You guys are expanding, like you said, in major markets. And when you look at your stock, and we can talk about it right now, like your IPO was around 40 cents, 44 cents. I remember like it was yesterday, it was in November. We broke it first. You guys went to about $1, which was huge return for investors. Everybody was able to double their money. Great return for investment. And then like everybody else, at that time when you hit your highs, it was kind of right when the market was at its peak. Market was at its peak, I would say in February of 2021. And then we saw small caps, specifically small caps, start to kind of slowly bleed down. And they've been doing that ever since. Now, some stocks have made some sneak attacks, you guys included. You guys went all the way down to 20 cents where you were very undervalued. And since then, you've pretty much doubled in price with incredible volume. The volume has been incredible where you were trading like 5 to 10 times daily average volume.
Yeah.
Can you explain where that came from? Do you know where it came from? Is it just investors saying, like you said, this is too cheap, let me get in? Is it institutions saying it's too cheap, let me get in? Or were you wondering where that came from just like me?
Well, you always wonder where it came from some days, but part of it was U.S. buying. To be honest with you, there was a lot of U.S. investors and small institutions that have been looking at us and said, like, at 20 cents, this thing is definitely a buy. It's way undervalued for what they're doing, and that was a lot of the big volume numbers that came up were U.S. investors and small institutions buying on the saying, what, they're telling us that revenue is being booked and nobody is waking up at the switch. So they woke up in the switch in the big day, from those big day of trading and said, if somebody's going to give it away at 20 cents, we're going to take it, right? And so that was a lot of that. And the cannabis business, went from look at me, I'm going to do all these things to, a lot of them didn't do it, right? So a lot of people got frustrated on, we did a lot of stuff during COVID, which, hats off to my management team. Without my folks, we could never get here. So it took a little longer. And, I released a newsletter to our investor groups to say, like, we're probably, it took an extra quarter with COVID just to get through Health Canada, get the provinces, you're shipping product to people's homes and whatnot for listings and whatnot for the provinces. So it just takes a little bit more time. So I think there was some of that. There was the call it frustration selling where, people get frustrated in the trade. But, the large volume came from investors waking up saying, at 20 cents, the math doesn't work. We got oversold. And we did some financings along the way, and you get people that want to trade, for the sake of just trading. So they made a little bit of money and they sold us down, which is fine. But I still think we're a really good buy personally, from where we sit, and hats off to the investor groups that came and supported us, at that 20 cents. We knew the volume was going to come and they were looking at us. We didn't know that it would show up all, in a relatively short period of time. But that's obviously, we have a lot of great investors. We have, I think, 7,500 investors the last count.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot. So we're super happy with the distribution. Lots of, in multi geographies, both Canada, the US. We have a German listing also. So we're super happy about the distribution. So there's not, one party that's, holding the stock that bought that volume. So, we think that there's a lot more gas in the tank for what we're doing. Once we can divulge who the MSO is and we start generating revenue in Michigan, that's a game changer. There's not a lot of Canadian guys that can say that they're in the the hottest market in the US from an extraction perspective. So that to me is worth, my view really doesn't matter what it's worth. The market will dictate that, but it's worth my market cap at least to be able to produce in Michigan. If we look at Michigan producers, I think the cheapest one out there is Red, White, and Bloom, and I think they're like 100 million plus market cap, right? So wow. They're not really even producing yet in the Michigan market, right? So they're just getting going. So we're a known entity. We're producing in Canada. We have revenue, and we're at 40 cents, right? So I don't care how you split the math. It's still a buy. So we'll see what happens. But that's the way we look at it.
Well, another thing that I want to talk about is I'm a huge fan of cannabis, but I'm also a huge fan of psychedelics. I love disruptive sectors. So you guys are not only becoming a huge player in cannabis, and I do believe, like you said, you're undervalued, underappreciated, underexposed. In every way you look, it's undervalued. What about psychedelics? We've just seen Mind Medicine uplist to the NASDAQ. We've seen Cybin announce that they're going to be uplisting to the New York Stock Exchange. Field Trip just announced that they're going to be moving up to the senior exchange. That's 3 companies now that are all psychedelic companies that are going to be on the senior exchange. You have any updates or any news on where you guys are at with your psychedelic side of your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So still a really important part of our business. I'm glad you brought that up. Obviously, the functional part of the business is picking up steam. We sell on Amazon our functional products under Pure Mushrooms. That's been going, really well for us, and it gives us the ability to do development on non-psychedelic mushroom-based products that we can then use in other products. So we signed a LOI for a clinical trial with Science with a P, but listed also out of there in Canada and in South Africa. So we're working with them, on a clinical trial with a major university. So we're still working on fast-acting agents for depression and anxiety in the psychedelic part of the arena. So we're still working hard in that area, and I love that area because I've seen the changes that go on when a patient takes psilocybin and the effects that it has on people. It's amazing, like 100% from a medical perspective. It changes these people's lives with, a week, 2 weeks worth of dosing. It really reprograms the brain in a lot of people, and it's an amazing product. So super happy that we're involved and we're doing some clinical trials. And as we're perfecting extraction capability, we applied for a dealer's license, as you know. So we're ready to go to finish that space within the facility. So we're continuing to push that forward. We're going to release some more functional products next quarter in the marketplace. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about it as well. If you had anything left that you wanted to share with the audience, to your 7,500 investors that will get a chance to see this video, what would it be?
It would be, stay tuned. You know what? We're a disruptive company. We like to develop, new innovative products, both on the mushroom side and on the cannabis side. And that's something that my management team spends a lot of time on: product development and bringing new innovative things to market. Our chiclet packed gummy, first in Canada. We developed that. Gummies were all over Canada. Everybody's putting in a cheap pouch. We said, you know what? Gummies may be old. This packaging will be, disruptive. Doesn't have any issue with heat. Doesn't have any issue with dosing because it's in its own little, cylinder within a chiclet pack. So, look for more products like that coming to market. And then obviously on the psychedelic side, we're doing some pretty neat stuff in the clinical trial area, and that'll be, pretty amazing. I can't say too much about that, but we're definitely pushing forward in that area, and we got some neat stuff coming. So stay tuned for that.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Ben Nikolewski, the CEO of Pure Extracts. Symbol is PULL in Canada, PULL. PRXTF, a company that I believe is undervalued, underappreciated, underexposed, growing in Canada, growing into the Michigan market, a company that's in the cannabis side and the psychedelic side, and still priced right around 40 cents in Canada. So I think that the sky's the limit for you guys. And thank you for joining us today, Ben.
Rich, thanks for having me. Love being on the show. And if any of your investors, have any questions or whatnot, info@purextracts.com. They can send their questions in. We're happy to respond to them.
Thank you for your time today, Ben. And for those of you guys that are watching, you're not winning, you're not watching. We bring you the winners and we bring them to you first. If you like the video, please smash the like button, comment down below, share the video everywhere, and subscribe. And a quick disclaimer, Rich TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your due diligence, do your research. We do before you invest in anything that we talk about here in Rich TV Live. In saying that, I think this is a great company that is undervalued, that has a great future with a strong management team, tight share structure, growing revenue, doing all the right things. And I believe we'll see you again soon, hopefully with a higher share price, more revenue, and more big news. Love to invite you back anytime you have big news, Ben.
You'll see me soon.
Thanks all right, my friend.
Appreciate
Enjoy the rest of your summer and hope to see you soon. And for those of you guys that are watching, have a nice day, everybody.
Thanks very much.